Hello guys, welcome back to Doom Eternal. It's me, Adley, and here's another level of the mastery, or this is another master level, which was the art complex. As you can see here, I'm just like changing my sensitivity on my mouse just to make it very careful. Anyway, I decided to make a different setup. I've had this like gameplay footage pre-recorded, and then I just made a separate recording of my voice on a different time, mainly because I saw that commentating and playing this game is a little bit difficult. There have been many times where I wanted to say something, but I get too preoccupied with the Doom dance that I end up forgetting about it, and then my mind just trails off. But in this setup, I get to say the things that I wanted to say a long time, but I couldn't because it gets pushed to the back of my mind, because this is a very mentally demanding game. There have been often times where like I get an idea, it's like, oh, like guys, do you know about this? But I end up trailing off because I'm too focused on the game. Anyway, as you can see, I've been just like practicing my, I guess gamer skills at playing this game. If you've already noticed, I've been not using the Q, like the weapon wheel at this point, which has its like downsides. As you can see, I don't get time to find out my ammo, and that kind of killed me there. But I've been like getting good at it, honestly. My initial problem beforehand was, like, if you didn't know, I'm trying to focus more on just quick switching, which is basically just pressing the buttons for the respective weapons to switch rather than just holding Q or using the mouse wheel to scroll, which I find to be very fast. It's like my gameplay has been a lot more streamlined because of that. By default, each gun would be hotkeyed to a specific number, like the combat shotgun would be 1, the heavy cannon would be a 2, etc, etc, which is completely fine for me. From the combat shotgun to the super shotgun, 1 to 5 is easy for me to press. Probably the hardest one being the combat shotgun, though I am getting used to pressing 5. Though past that, which is the BFG, the ballista, and then the chain gun, is hard to do. So I decided to customize my controls, my key bindings, and what I essentially have is a very nice setup. My mouse is a little bit special. It has 2 extra buttons on the side from where my thumb is resting, which is like the bottom one is for me to switch to my ballista, which makes it a lot faster, and the other one is to switch my grenade types, because G, which is the default key binding for the grenade launcher, or for switching between grenade types, is very close to F. So I accidentally press the weapon mod sometimes because I got fat fingers or a fat thumb, and which kind of screws me over. Like it has screwed me over a couple of times during the campaign. So I did switch it to I guess mouse 4 in this case, and then mouse 5 would be my ballista. I did switch those key bindings back at the first master level, though the only thing that was left for me to keybind was the chain gun and the BFG. The BFG I could live without custom keybind, mainly because I've gotten used to not using it as much, so I don't really need to always have it on the ready. But the chain gun was the big problem. At that time, the chain gun was still uncomfortable for me to pick, so I was still relying on the mouse wheel to do that. Nice. That was actually pretty funny. I did some extra voice recording just in case I make a quip, but most of the time it's just gonna be me commentating on my pre-recorded video. As you can see, like for example, fighting this guy, if I didn't have the chain gun binded to a comfortable spot, I would have slightly more trouble in fighting this guy, because I would still use the mouse wheel to just hover over the chain gun and select it via that. But here, as you can clearly see, I was able to switch to the chain gun pretty fast. And I did that by binding the chain gun to the middle mouse button, which is default like binded to throwing the grenade launcher, but the grenade launcher already has the control button, so that's a little bit redundant. Because of that, like almost all of my gameplay is, or like, you know, gaming is kind of like streamlined now because of that. The only exception would be the BFG slash Unmaker. Like I haven't binded that yet properly, but at the same time I'm not really that upset about that because, you know, I don't often select the BFG or the Unmaker. It's kind of pointless, or like I don't really have to, you know, select it as often as all the other guns. You know, I will only need to select it in desperate situations, but just in case, I think I did make a custom keybind for it, though I haven't properly used it yet, I think. What the heck? Okay, you just disappeared. Not even a gib. Okay. I kind of forgot where I actually binded it. I think it was T or Y? No, I actually binded it to X. So it's like very close for my middle finger to just select, you know. And it's, you know, because of that, it's like mostly out of the way, so I don't accidentally select it. And, you know, unless I absolutely need to, which means like, you know, I have to move my middle finger quite a significant, you know, distance to actually select it. So it's a pretty safe keybind, I guess, I would say so myself. Well, as you can see, I'm like actually getting somewhat good. Obviously, like me making custom keybinds from the game all stem from me watching a clip on the subreddit for Doom, r/Doom. I'm there, by the way, with the same IGN if you wanna, you know, find me out. Like, hey, I'm there. I'm pretty active, I guess. Don't really post, but I comment on where I can. But anyway, I saw a short clip in the subreddit r/Doom of basically someone absolutely, you know, demolishing the Marauder. I already said this before. And like he did it under 5 seconds, and he basically cycled between, you know, the super shotgun, the ballista, the rocket launcher, and the grenade launcher, and that led to me just, you know, trying to practice quick switching, which led to me, you know, setting up custom keybinds so I could like switch to my guns a lot quicker, which basically led to this. And honestly, it makes the game a lot faster and a lot more enjoyable because you don't have like those like off times where when you have to select your weapon using Q, or when you're holding Q, which is basically where it shows up the weapon wheel, which it slows down time, which I guess gives you some like extra time to think on what you're supposed to click, but which is nice, I guess. You get some like, you kind of cheat the system by having time slowed for you, but at the same time, you know, whew, that was actually tight. It's also very clunky. Sometimes, like, you know, you hover over a weapon that you want to select, and you know, you let go of Q when you think that you've properly hovered over it already, but it doesn't end up selecting, so you have to do it again, which is a little bit, I guess, you know, inconvenient to say the least. And eventually, you know, you don't really need, or it's like kind of unnecessary for you to have that slow-mo time, because you're like so quick. The purple goo, ooh, how annoying it is. At least for me, you end up like, you know, figuring things out so quick, like, oh, you see a Dread Knight, okay, I need to pull out the chain gun. I don't need to hold Q anymore to just like think about like, oh, what weapon should I use for this guy? No, I just immediately select the chain gun, which is nice, which makes, I guess, technically playing the game a lot faster, or rather makes your reaction times, or makes your responses a lot faster. Anyway, that's technicalities out of the way. Now onto the actual things. I'm gonna try and remember almost like a lot of the things that I wanted to say in my previous videos, but I couldn't really, because once again, you know, I kind of lose track, and I guess I have a short attention span. You know, because I kind of forget about them, because this game's pretty, you know, mentally demanding, so I trail off, you know, because I get too enthralled in playing this awesome game. Anyway, whew. Okay. Oh. Hello. Well, first off, this game, I mean, feel good. It's like, having finished the game, you know, at least on Ultra Violence. Like obviously, there's still a lot of the game I haven't really played. I haven't played battle mode yet, but I'm not really into the multiplayer aspect of games. Well, you know, I'm not like, because I initially had the idea that, you know, Doom isn't really a multiplayer kind of game. Like, you know, it showed like in Doom 2016, the multiplayer for Doom 2016 wasn't really the best. But I saw the news and I saw like, you know, and like I guess battle mode itself, you know, the way it's like asymmetrical, it's 2v1. Oh come on man, don't run away from me. Seriously? Come on, come here. Okay, that works for me. But at the same time, the one guy is like the Slayer and the two people are like just demons that can summon smaller demons. Which is pretty interesting, you know. I can't really name another game that kind of has that format of like PvP. Which is interesting, I would say. Now maybe I try it out sometime soon. But it's just that I've never really been under the, I guess, mentality that Doom is also a multiplayer game, you know. Like, I played Doom 2016 solely for the single player, just solely for the campaign aspect. It was such a good game. You know, its story wasn't really, I guess, you know, complex or, you know, like I guess, sophisticated. But it was good enough for you to, like, you know, get a good idea of the universe and, you know, give your characters some, well, character, you know.
This is Dr. Elena Richardson, entry zip 63.
Man,
there is no chance
even on the first recording, she
we
sounds so thirsty.
Whoa, the fuck?
Yeah, that was pretty scary, not gonna lie. Funnily enough, Doom Eternal has a horror tag somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it just has one. Nice jump scare, buddy. Anyway, like, the Slayer was like this godly figure that could not be killed, so he was like, you know, imprisoned in a coffin for like millennia, and then he was escaped, and now you're angry and you want to kill demons, you know. A very simple story, but a very compelling one at that. But now the lore of Doom Eternal kind of fleshes that out, you know. Doom 2016 kind of like put up a lot of questions. Oh, who is the Doomslayer really? Wow, how did he turn into a god? You know, it sets up a lot of questions, like who the Doomslayer is, what was his backstory, like what are the demons, and so I guess, you know, it's up to Doom Eternal, the sequel to Doom 2016, to answer those questions. You know, it's kind of appropriate for the story to progress this way. Let me just listen to this sweet girl.
Subject analysis of Doomslayer, February 2nd, 2163.
Man, even like her voice from the very beginning was so like thirsty. Like that raspiness, like I don't know, man. I see a lot of people in the subreddit kind of like complaining about the story is just like a bit too hectic. I mean, I can understand that, you know, there's like tons of codexes scattered around the campaign, and you know, if you really want to find out the story, you just have to sit down, you know, stop the flow of the game and like, you know, read a few lines of text. Nah, I like Dr. Richardson more than you annoying ass AI. Richardson? What's that? I don't know. Dr. Thirst. Yeah, this girl's like thirsty, not gonna lie. Anyway, I can understand, you know, it's a slog. Kind of breaks the flow of the game, but at the same time, sometimes breaking the flow of the game is pretty good. You know, you would want those like breaks, because this is a very demanding game. Don't get me wrong, okay? The blocks of text, you know, if you're not a fan of reading, then like the lore for Doom Eternal is not, or like the story built in the game is not for you, mainly because most of the story is relying on the codexes. There is some environmental storytelling, you know, like the environment of like each mission is like so fleshed out and so awesome. It's like really breathtaking, you know. I couldn't really experience it when I was making like playthrough, mainly because I was at ultra. I was stuck at ultra like graphics, so you know my video card can tank playing the game and recording playing the game, or me recording playing the game. So like yeah, and that's like the purpose of Doom Eternal. You know, it had to answer the questions that was brought up by Doom 2016, and you know, not only that, but it also connected, I guess, the story of the original Dooms, like Doom 1, Doom 2, and Doom 64. I guess the final Doom as well. Not sure about Doom 3. Doom 3 is kind of like its own separate story. You weren't really Doom Marine. As far as I know, that's not the Doom Marine. You know, maybe like a parallel universe, like something. I'm not sure. Not like out of all the Doom games, Doom 3 is like the one that's least talked about, mainly because you know it was the one that strayed far from, I guess, the aesthetic of Doom. Is that the right word? You know, out of all the Doom games, it was the least Doom game because it was, you know, a horror game, which was interesting because it was a horror game, but at the same time, you know, like not really the kind of, you know, it wasn't really a great. It was a good game, but not really a good Doom game. You know, it was a nice horror game, you know, but out of all the Doom games, it's not. I'd probably rate it as like, you know, one of the lowest tiers one. Well, you know. Unless we're like, you know, we include the Doom RPG that they had for like, you know, Switch phones. That one is definitely not a Doom game, okay? Though, it does have some lore. I don't know, man. Yeah, so like Doom Eternal did a really good job at connecting the lore of not only Doom, or you know, not only answering the lore questions of Doom 2016, but also connecting the lore of Doom 1 and Doom 2. I guess we do find out that, like, you know, the Doomslayer is actually the original Doom guy from the original Doom, and that, you know, he apparently got turned into a god because of Samur, which, according to the subreddit, is actually Samuel Hayden, and Vega might be the father. You know, starts to make sense, I guess, you know, when you look back at the things that happened in Urdak. You know, because like Samuel Hayden, Samur, Samuel. Anyway, other than that, okay, and on to another topic, which is basically the reason why I started, you know, getting good, is because of the Marauder. Everyone's favorite demon to hate, the Marauder. Okay, you know, I have more disdain over the Whiplash and the Carcass. You know, those two kind of like, you know, it's like a balance between those two. I might, you know, it's a very neck-to-neck battle between like the Whiplash and the Carcass on, you know, who I hate more. But the Marauder is pretty up there of, like, you know, demons that you just love to hate. Okay, like he breaks the flow of the game, and you know, if the subreddit or if the people in the subreddit are anything to go by, he is very annoying. And you know, even a lot of people say that like the Marauder ruins the game. I'm not really part of that crowd. I honestly, like, you know, for lack of better words, people who say that, I think they just need to, you know, get good. But honestly, constructively speaking, the Marauder's not that hard. He's just very, I guess, different from the flow of the game, which, you know, makes him stand out, which I guess, you know, when people get upset about the game, they immediately point out to the Marauder. Okay, I know for a fact that what comes next is pretty hard. Hopefully, I survive. Here we go again. I remember dying multiple times here. If I haven't explained enough, like, reason why I'm like putting my commentary over a video that I already pre-recorded is so, like, you know, I could get my thoughts out more, and so, like, you know, you don't hear my incessant tapping or like keyboard tapping, because, you know, this game like has you like pressing about 3 keys minimum, like at a given time when you're fighting. So like, you know, trying to edit all those out is kind of, you know, it gets pretty tedious, you know, when editing these videos. If I get too lazy in editing them, then it gets just like, you know, I guess really annoying for you guys to hear that. I don't know about you guys, like maybe it doesn't really bother you, but to me, like, you know, when I watch my videos before uploading them on YouTube, it kind of annoys me when I hear those, like, those clicks. It's really annoying. Ooh, that's a new one. Wait, that was a bit too... I flinched too much. Ooh, I'm flinching too much. Anyway, back to the Marauder. My first encounter with the Marauder, granted, I did already know a few things like, because the subreddit kind of spoiled a lot of the stuff about Doom Eternal. I was like at the second mission before I already knew about the Marauder, like, because like people were already got there and they were like, oh my god, the Marauder sucks, oh this guy's like terrible or something like that, and I was like, who's the Marauder? When do I get to fight him, you know? And so when I ended up fighting him, it was pretty straightforward, you know. And I did watch Markiplier. I did watch his video, like when he got early access of the game, and you know, when he fought the Marauder. I guess that kind of gave me an idea of how to fight him. And like before your first encounter with the Marauder, they do give you a tutorial, like, you know, you like, don't be too far away from him, or else he'll use his axe. Don't be too close to him, or else he'll use his shotgun. You know, you gotta be at the medium distance and, you know, hit him when his eyes flash green. The only thing that they didn't say in the tutorial of him, I guess, was that he summons a dog. I don't really know the conditions of when he summons his dog, but, you know, he summons his dog. And I guess the dog is pretty annoying, because its running speed is faster than the Doomslayer, so it can catch up to you, and when it bites you, it actually slows you, so it gets really annoying. But I find that, like, but it does, like, fall in a couple of hits. So, like, you know, just shooting it about, like, 3 times with the heavy cannon or the plasma rifle eliminates it immediately. So, there's that. Initially fighting the Marauder, it was intimidating. He was certainly a challenge. Like, he went against the game's, I guess, flow. And that was just, like, him against, like, you know, imp or a cyborg zombie spawning every now and then to just, like, give you a nuisance. Fighting him again, like, in a room with, like, Mankibai and, like, you know, whiplashes, god, that would be so goddamn annoying, you know? You know, with, like, bigger demons, it can actually, yeah, make the game a little bit tedious. Or it's just understandable, but honestly, if you figure out how to fight him or how to deal with him, and you, I guess, develop your technique, he gets pretty easy. Like, people were able to kill him in under 5 seconds. I mean, granted, I haven't played the game in Nightmare mode, so I might be speaking too soon. At the same time, I guess is the reason why I'm practicing on how to beat him, and, you know, why I'm practicing quick switching. So, you know, I get more good at killing the Marauder as well as any other demon. Because quick switching isn't just useful for the Marauder alone, it's actually really good to just, like, use it on, like, bigger demons. You know, just switching between rocket launcher to ballista to super shotgun against, like, bigger demons kind of burns them pretty quick. It melts demons pretty quick, not gonna lie. And anyway, I don't know, people say, like, they get upset with the Marauder. I mean, don't get me wrong, I did get upset, like, a little bit salty during that secret encounter with the Marauder, because you had to, like, because it was just a time difference. How upsetting it was, like, I didn't finish it. I could have finished it on the first try, but because I didn't have the rune that makes score kills faster, I lost by like a millisecond, which is sad. And you know, everything else I like, yeah, I lost my 1-ups, like, dying from him, which is sad. But if I knew about, like, the quick switching technique before I got into that secret encounter, I am confident I could have, like, beaten him on the first try immediately because of, like, that quick switching tactic. And even if you botch it up, like, he gets out of a stagger state, you know, and then you have to, like, stagger him a second time, it's still pretty quick. I'm getting around to, like, just needing to stagger him twice rather than, like, multiple times, you know, because it's like stagger him with a super shotgun, then ballista, then rocket launcher, the grenade launcher. Then if I don't continue that cycle, he just has to, you know, get staggered again, and then boom, he's dead. With that idea in mind, you know, seeing that guy, I guess, absolutely annihilate the Marauder, and seeing how, you know, with the right technique, you know, and a little bit of fast hands, you can actually, like, you know, beat him like your average imp. It kind of, you know, changes the perspective of how, you know, truly annoying the Marauder is as an enemy. Because, like, it proves his weakness to be a lot more exploitable than people may think. Because, like, the moment you find out about his weakness, you can just capitalize about it. And, like, you find out that, like, you can capitalize so hard on his weakness, on his, like, one weakness, then aren't you going to take that? If this guy is, like, so, like, annoying, wouldn't you, like, exploit that? So yeah, that's why I'm doing that shit, because it's exploitable. Does it feel cheap? I mean, not really, because, like, I mean, he is pretty infamous of a demon slayer, so, or as an enemy, so you would think he would deserve, like, being treated as a chump. Yeah, and as you can see here, the BFG is the only thing I haven't, like, properly binded yet, or maybe I just forgot that I bounded it to X. I binded it to X. Maybe I just forgot that it was key binded to X. Is that the right word? Binded. Key binded. Key bounded. It was bound to X. There we go. And going back to the thing I said about like, you know, lore, because once again, like I've just been usually like lurking and in the subreddit for Doom, and like people are already making the theories that oh, Samuel Hayden might actually be Samur and Vega is father, because like the lore said that like the father was stolen, because I guess the father is an AI and like that was just, you know, stuck in a like a mainframe or something. I forgot the exact words to the lore, but that was kind of the thing. So it's already hinting at that, which is really interesting. I guess like I would kind of support that theory. I mean, like, you know, because like the humans weren't, they said like, oh, the technology is too alien, so that maybe that would mean that Samuel Hayden actually is human, because the technology of his, like, you know, quote unquote body is alien. So, you know, the idea that there's a lot of like I guess things that are supporting the fact that Samuel Hayden might be Samur and Vega might be the father, which is really interesting. Pretty funny though, honestly. Like, kind of like similar to what happened to Cortana in Halo 4. I probably already said this beforehand. Like, Cortana is, you know, how should I say this? Like in Halo 4, Cortana was kind of like, I guess, expiring as an AI, but you know, like before she ends up, you know, expiring, you put her into the mainframe of the Forerunner tech or something, and then she apparently becomes one with that. I haven't really played Halo 5, but apparently she turns somewhat antagonistic. I don't know. Basically, kind of like that same fate. You know, she just becomes a stronger AI. Vega was apparently a lot more than just an AI than we thought. You know, he may be the father. He may be you know, like a divine entity that was, I guess, the progenitor of an advanced alien race, which were the Makers. That could be a good theory. You know, but I wanted to say this on the last episode of me playing the campaign, but I couldn't really say it because I guess, you know, I immediately forgot about that thought, and the only thing I was able to say at that point was just, you know, praising the game of how good it was and how amazing it was, because don't get me wrong, this is an awesome game. Like, I bet, like, you know, this game is gonna be like one of the top games of 2020. Might be the best FPS of this, like, you know, of this year. You know, like, most definitely. Okay, I'm pretty sure it will be. Such a good game. Good job, id. Anyway, I wanted to say this on that episode, and that was basically like, you know, after playing through this game, and like even before the final mission, like, or like of all the lore bits and all the questions that the lore of Doom Eternal answered, there were still a lot of questions that were left unanswered, and even Doom Eternal itself opened up a lot more questions. Okay, like for example, like the Doomslayer is actually, he's the Doom guy from the original Doom, and the Makers are just like advanced race. They made a pact with Hell, yada yada, and that's why everything is going to shit. And that's why the Sentinels are kind of like, you know, no longer in their golden age. But at the same time, there's still a lot of questions open. It's like, okay, so but who's the father? They said that the father split up. What happened, like, to Vega? You know, because like they left that question up. It's like, what happened to Vega? Is he the father? Because yeah, I get it. Like, you know, it may almost be obvious, but at the same time, it's still a theory. You know, it's very obvious that Samuel Hayden is Samur and Vega might be the father, but we can never be sure unless the game devs said it themselves. You know, so that is still a question. Like, is Samuel Hayden Samur? Is Vega the father? Other than that, and like, you know, more questions. Okay, so Vega is stuck at Urdak, but Urdak's kind of like, you know, not really looking good. So what happens to Vega? What will Vega do there? You know, the icon of sin is vanquished, yay, but his corpse is still there, and you know, the blade is still there. Like, what will the humans do? And what happens next? You know, like all this stuff, like the way the game progressed, and like even and the lore bits, you know, all of it is pointing to a sequel, which would be nice, like, cause that just hypes you up for even more. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I'll still play Doom Eternal. You know, cause like it has replayability and it's a really fun game. playing Doom Eternal actually makes me want to play Doom 2016 again, you know, just to go back at it and maybe actually, you know, finish an Ultra Nightmare run, because I never really got to actually, I mean, even like finishing a Nightmare run of Doom 2016, because I was like, you know, I have a long list of games that I wanted to play at the time and I still want to play now, you know, so I kind of forgot Doom 2016. Doom 2016 was kind of went into the back burner. And oh, and this is a Marauder fight, by the way. So as you can clearly see, I'm still like, I'm being very patient to like try and like clear. Yeah, that was bad on my part. I think what I missed there was that I'm like, I got the switching right. You know, the key bindings are certainly making it a lot more comfortable for me to do things, but I'm just a bit too slow because I'm switching way too fast. Like, I'm not pressing right, or like sometimes I press left mouse click before I even switch to the rocket launcher, which gives me that pause. So, you know, it's just the like, I guess, sequence of when I press the keys that's kind of off. So that's why I don't have the hang of it yet, which is really embarrassing, I guess, compared to my first try in trying to do the quick switching technique. Because on the first try, I got halfway through, or probably more than halfway, I kind of forget. I was able to do one cycle, you know, and then, you know, I kind of messed up. And now I can barely do a one cycle of the quick switch. Okay, not the best, honestly. As you can see there, he was already low health enough for, you know, for it to not really matter. So I'm trying to get used to that. It's just like the sequence of keys, because I pressed left mouse a bit too early when I didn't have the next weapon ready, or I haven't cycled to the next weapon. Anyway, what was I saying? But it, like, even then, even if you don't have the hang of that, even if I didn't have that full cycle where I kill him in under 5 seconds, I was still able to kill him pretty quick. It just took 3, like, you know, staggers, right? It only took 3 staggers to kill him then, which is pretty cool. It only took 3 staggers to kill him then, which is pretty cool. Oh, come on. That's like the thirstiest one so far. You block it? Okay. Like, if I didn't know about that, it would probably take me like 5, 10 staggers with just a super shotgun to kill him. And that would have, like, you know, drawn out that fight a lot longer, and, like, you know, all the gargoyles would, like, be a pain in my ass, like, a lot longer, which would have made it more difficult. But that actually made it a lot easier and a lot more fun, you know. The quick switching technique is OP, but not like the kind of like lazy OP. You actually have to work for it, which is what's satisfying about it, you know. I like it when a game gives you the ability to be overpowered, but you have to work for that overpoweredness. Like, you have to be like quick with your fingers, and you gotta switch constantly, and you gotta keep in mind of your ammo, chainsaw at the right times, use your super weapons at the right times, and all that stuff. I like that in the game, you know. Like, that's like, I like when a game gives you the ability to be an absolute monster, but, you know, the power is determined by your skill. I like it when games are like that. Well, at least we have this. Anyway, so like, I really feel like Doom Eternal, like, obviously, like, they gotta make a new game. They gotta make a new game after Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal can't be the end of Doom. I really feel like, you know, they're like, id Software set the bar even higher after Doom 2016 for like the Doom games and for FPS games in general. They're bound to make another game, you know. And though, what would that sequel be? I'm kind of hyped, but at the same time, I'm pretty comfortable with still playing Doom Eternal.
I feel it is in Doom that I have faith. The Slayer is the spear that stabs at the heart of our attackers, and those that would seek to harm us should feel warned. For there is only one dominant life form in this universe, and it carries a steel-barreled sword of vengeance. All hail the coming of the Destroyer.
Thank you, Dr. Blurst ASMR. Oh god. I can just imagine the fanfics that people would write about that doctor. Yeah. Oof. So anyway, that's all of the things I could say right now. That's all I could remember. And obviously, you know, the first fight against the Marauder would be the ideal place to just, you know, for you like to start practicing on how to beat the Marauder.
You were never one of us.
But before you say that, I just want to say, I know this doctor, and shit you not, he turned himself into a pickle. Funniest shit I've ever seen. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, I'm cringy. Please don't hurt me. Yeah, that was the wrong one, honestly. I also need to keep in mind of what grenade I'm on when I start that cycle. Because the ice bomb doesn't do anything on him. He's unaffected by the ice bomb. And that's a problem as well. Like, I'll get like mixed with the keys of what I'm supposed to press. So I need to get it down. Yeah, like really trying to take my time here. Ah, see, that was also a mistake. So at that moment, like, you know, or I switched guns too fast before I could even press the left mouse button. Like, my fingers are getting twisted on that combo because I'm like switching to the cannon, to the like rocket launcher a bit too early. Yeah, what I said. Anyway, thank you guys for watching in that regard. That was all that I could really say at that moment. Hopefully I was able to get my thoughts out a lot better, you know, doing this setup, because, you know, I'm not really focusing on the game at the same time trying to say what I want to say. So, you know, I'm not sure like what additional content will they make for the game. I heard that they're gonna make more skins and they were gonna make more master levels. Maybe I'll, you know, make content about that, or maybe I'll switch to another game. You know, I wanna, like, you know, I don't wanna just be a Doom Eternal YouTuber. I have ideas of what other games I wanna play. And until then, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the setup, and hopefully you enjoyed the video and me talking. If you like my content, hey, consider liking. If you have ideas or suggestions of what I should do, go ahead and comment. You know, that would be nice. And if you like my content, consider subscribing. That would be awesome. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.